Hello and welcome. Hello. Hello, Helena. Hello, Maria. Welcome, TikTok. I hope everybody had an amazing Valentine's Day. Everybody got what they wanted to get. For me, it's an interesting day. I don't take it too serious. And yesterday I was talking to my friend, and we were like from the same culture, so we were trying. I'm like, I don't take this holiday serious, and I don't understand why. And she said maybe because when we were growing up, for us it was more like a holiday between friends. None of our parents didn't really celebrate and give nothing to each other, so it was not like a holiday for grown-ups. It was a holiday for little kids who were giving little cards to each other. Anyways, but I do hope that you got some kind of love. I did. I don't take it serious much, but still, it's always pleasant. Anyways, today we're talking about green flags in men. And I decided to do this because I looked through my videos, my recent videos, and I'm like, if somebody doesn't know me, will think that I hate men, which is not true. I don't. I really love men, and men love me. Lucky for me and for them. So I do really appreciate men and masculinity overall very much. So I'm going to give you my green flags, and you probably won't agree with some of them, and that's fine because I wouldn't even agree with them myself a few years back. So that's fine, but promise that you will think about it. Not only you will think about it, but you will see logic of why I'm thinking these are the green flags. And I think I will do two parts because I have a lot of them, and I don't want to cram them all into one video. So let's start, and then I will tell you a little bit about the solar eclipse that's coming in the day after tomorrow. All right, so let's start. Let me open my comments. So the first green flag for me, and I think should be for everybody, is that the man is masculine. This is the biggest green flag. I obviously do not suggest you to ask for his date of birth before you will even ask for his name. But when you have a chance, I mean, make a chart and see what the guy is. Where is his Mars? Where is his Sun? Where is his Mercury? These are the masculine planets, and this is important. Now, if a man has a lot of placements in feminine planets, so you need to see where his personal placements are. So it doesn't really matter where his Jupiter or Neptune is. These are social planets, so they don't really influence him that much. You need to know where his ascendant is. That's hard to find out because you need the time of birth and place of birth. But the Sun, Mars, Mercury, these are easy to, they're not changing the sign every couple hours or every few minutes. So you can find where his Mars is, or his Sun, or his Mercury, his Venus, and and that's it. I think so. Mars, Venus, Sun, ascendant, Mercury. That's it. So these are important planets, and I would look at them. Where are they staying? Like, for example, I was talking to this guy. He's writing me here and there, on and off, but he's not doing any actions. He's talking to me, but no, he's not doing nothing. He's not asking for nothing. He's just like weird, it doesn't happen in my life. And I'm like, this guy is feminine. It's either he's too young or too feminine. So one of those. So yesterday I asked him for because he was inviting me somewhere weird, like on something that I would never do. And so I asked him, and it was not a masculine kind of approach. So I asked him, and I looked, all his placements are in feminine, all the Scorpio, Cancer somehow. So he is very watery. What I'm going to do with this guy? I mean, the conversation was done at that moment. So the biggest green flag for me is that the man is masculine. If he has all those 6 placements that I told you about in the air or fire signs, so this is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, I will take it. Yes, they also will have their negative side, but I can work with them. This masculine man, they're easy to operate. If you know how to deal with masculinity, it will be easy. These men are not emotional. They're focused on actions, on results, and I can deal with that. With strong soft boundaries, I can deal with that. But I could not deal with this the emotions and this not sureness, lack of confidence. I could not do this. It's just it won't do. So this is my biggest green flag. If a man has a lot of placements in feminine signs, I'm not even talking to him no more. Before I used to, and you might want to talk to him because they seems to be so empathetic, they're so caring, they're this and this, they're like women, and I don't need this. I thank you very much, but I would rather a man would be bluntly aggressive with me and straight to the point, and he will be all sweet and that, and then, oh, but you don't understand my soul and this and that. Oh, moon also important, where the moon is. So the biggest green flag for me is that the man has to be masculine. I do not deal with feminine men no more. That's it. To the point. I analyzed my whole dating history, my marriage history, my relationship history, and I understand that the worst relationship I had with man energy, with feminine energy, they were the most exhausting, the most. This was the relationship when I didn't develop at all. This was the relationship when I started doubting myself. This was the relationship that was dragging on and on for with no results. So no more. This is, and I do not advise you, unless you're super masculine, I do not advise you to deal with men. And look, you will tell me, well, Anastasia, this is such a, so now what? Men who are feminine, what to do for them? I don't care really. I don't. It's not my business. Let them do what they want to do, far away from me. Let them work on their masculinity. I don't know what else to say. But in my life, they have no place, unless maybe a friend. I mean, I have couple men who are a little feminine energy of person. They're my friends. All right, so this is the first one. The second green flag that I will give you, and a lot of you might not agree with me, is that a man is not always available. I would honestly be very suspicious of people, not only men, but everybody who is constantly available, who is like, who has no life, honestly. But I would be especially suspicious when a man is always available. So two things: either he's absolutely, either he has no life at all, or I'm not sure, like, what could prompt a man to be always available, like he has no life, and I'm sure men would agree, everybody likes somebody who has a life, who has interest, who has some kind of something going on for them. It's you always want to be around people like that. So I am very opposed to men who have no life, who are always available, who depend on me to create some kind of excitement in their life. I wouldn't want that. I don't want that burden. Who sit around and wait till I'm done with my work, with my hobbies, and then see him. I don't want that. And I was traveling, and there was this guy. He seems to have a job, but yet he was sitting in a cafe outside my apartment that I was renting. I was traveling, so I was renting an Airbnb. And he's like, it's okay, I will wait for you. And it was very suspicious. What is his problem that he's just sitting there and waiting for me? He has nothing else to do. I mean, it's like, it was strange. So after 3 days, I was basically done talking to him. He stalked me for a little bit, but then he was out. So this is a green flag. A green flag is that a man is not always available, that he has life and he has interest, and he's not going to sacrifice them for somebody else. Thank you. So this is what it is. So a man has to have some kind of life, and he should not be able to. So look, if he will drop all his life and his interests for me, I mean, why would they want a man like that? His life is not that interesting. His life is not secure. His life is he's not exciting. He will depend on me to create everything, all of that in his life, and I don't need that. I want somebody who's an individual, and I'm individual, and we're connecting together. So this is a green flag for me. I would appreciate if a man would be like, look, I could not do this, but I can do that. If he's like, anytime, I'm always for you. And I was for a long time, I wanted the man to be available and all mine and everything. But it was a mistake, a big mistake. And I hope you are not going to do that mistake as well. I had a couple of relationships when men were, I wouldn't say losers, but close to that. And they were just basically waiting for, I was their life. And that was very, at the beginning it was flattering, and then it became very heavy, because I could not go out with my friends because I need to drag that boyfriend of mine with me everywhere. I mean, it just doesn't work. It shouldn't be like this. I could not be doing nothing on my own because he's always there. It's very heavy. So This is my green flag. Now, from here, the green flag is if he has friends, acquaintances, family. I would be very careful with men who have nobody. Why do I say this? So masculinity is outside, femininity is inside. Masculinity is very outgoing, especially masculine men. You know that they have a lot of acquaintances, friends. They here and there. You know, they're always social. They're always trying to talk to somebody. So they are very social, very outgoing, very friendly. Now, if a man is not like that, then two reasons: either he's not separated from his parents, or he's a psychopath. I don't know what else to say. But an outgoing person with no friends or acquaintances or somebody who he wants to hang out with is a major red flag. So for me, green flag is when a man has that social circle of his, that he has friends, that he has you know, I don't know, acquaintances, that he has some kind of people that he socializes, I don't know, neighbors that he talks to, somebody, his relatives, cousins, whatever it is. So he needs to have something going on for him. I would be very suspicious again with the man who does not socialize with nobody. Again, it's either he's not separated from parents, so he's still not mature enough to hold the relationship because he's not separated from his parents, or something is off with him. Either he has serious traumas, or I'm not sure what else, that he would not that he doesn't want to socialize with somebody. That's very strange. For a masculine man, it's extremely strange. Me, as a feminine woman, not very social. I have friends. I have my circle kind of not every man needs people to serve purpose. You're right, but a man should have some kind of acquaintances or somebody to talk to. Unless he's feminine and he's not secure, then that's different. But then I don't want feminine. All right, so I do want you to pay attention. Again, a man doesn't have to have a whole bunch of friends, but he should be comfortable with socializing with people. He should have at least 2-3 friends. He should be okay with socializing with his like cousins, you know, extended family. I didn't know a masculine man who would not be social, who would not have somebody in his life. Like usually they have too much, like usually their life is too crowded instead of not having. So I would be very, very particular. Again, the same reason. If he doesn't have no friends, he's not really ready to create a relationship. He doesn't know how to create that relationship. So you will have problems with him, and you don't need those problems. More purpose-driven man like me only socialize to progress in life, not just to talk, You're right, but you have somebody to progress in life, right? Even if your friends can be distraction, 100% agree. But then you have colleagues that you socialize with, so somebody who goes towards the same purposes you do. So don't try to justify. Anyway, so pay attention to that. I would be very careful. A man who doesn't socialize with his extended family, or somebody, I mean, it's something weird. So for me, green flag is a man who has a social circle. That's I think this is, you see, because masculinity is outgoing. So if a man is not socializing with others, he's holding it inside, and it's wrong. He needs to kind of let it out somehow. All right, so that's that. The next one is a man who has somewhat decent relationship with his mother. Now, I don't say that he needs to be mama's boy. That's a problem, obviously, because I will tell you why it's a problem. Because if he's a mama's boy, he never been separated from his mom. That's a problem. Now, but he needs to have a good relationship with his mother. Actually, everybody, women and men, needs to have a good relationship with the mothers. Why? Because our relationship with our mom is determined our relationship with everybody else, especially with our significant partners. Notice the same way you feel about your mom, the same way you feel about your communication with your mom will transpire towards your partner in the long run. And you will tell me, no, that's not true. Yes, it's true, 100%. I checked it so many times you couldn't even imagine. And the first time I checked it, I had this guy, and I really liked him, and everything was perfect, and he was very attentive to me. What if your mother treated you bad? That's your perception. No mom would treat bad. So so I was dating this guy, and he was very much into me. He was treating me very nice, but he was not treating his mom very nice. So he was not mean to her. They lived in different countries. He lives here, and she lives in, I guess, back home in his country. So, anyways, and every time she would call him, he would kind of ignore her, or he would get annoyed with her, and he will ignore her. And I was like, how lucky I am that he's so nice to me and he's not so nice to his mom, until I started annoying him and he started treating me the same way as he was treating his mom. He would ignore me. He would make a little fun of me. He would try to avoid those confrontations that I would bring in. So as long as everything was perfect, there was no kind of, he would communicate, he would answer as soon as there's something serious would come up, he would ignore me just as he would do his mom. So I would look into his man's communication with his mother. As I said, he shouldn't be sitting next to her, holding to her skirt. He shouldn't be like all devoted to her as well, because at one point, man and woman need to separate from parents and start living their lives. If you are too close to your parents, and something is off now. And you will tell me, Anastasia, you are the one to talk. You're very close to your mom. Yes, I am. But I know, but there is a separation. I'm not hanging on to her like to the straw that could save me. I'm just close. I'm close to my brother and sister. I'm close to others as well, to men and women as well in my life. So, anyways, I would observe that he need to have good relationship. If he's not separated from his mom, that's a dead end. You will be competing with his mom all the time, and he will be choosing his mom over and over because he's not separated from her. So he will be running to her every time there is a problem, and he will not be able to build relationship with you because he's not separated yet from the main woman in his life. Now, if he ignores his mom, if he avoids her, if he believes that if he blames her for something, he will start doing the same with you. He's a man who does not take responsibility. So he separated from the mom, but it was not a healthy separation. A healthy separation when a child becomes somewhat independent, little by little, when he's a teenager, and start living their life, start getting new acquaintances, and pulling away from parents. This is a normal, healthy separation. Now, if that didn't happen, and the separation happened, for example, mom left him, and he was just left on his own or with grandparents or something, there is a wound, a trauma that's not healed. And so that trauma would be resurfacing in the relationship again and again. So I would observe that. Ideally, he should have a decent relationship with his mom, checking in on her and just telling how he is, like here once in a while, once a day, once in 2 days, I don't know. But it should not affect him anyhow. His main purpose and focus is his own life, not his mom's. And if his mom is not acting as a little child, then the relationship are good. He's not taking the place of her partner or her parents. So I would look into that. This is important, very important. Again, observe how he treats his mom. This is how he will treat you. And if you don't believe me, check it yourself, and remember your previous relationship, because I did. After that incident, I started observing how how a man treats his mom, what he says about his mom. If he says, "Oh, we're cool," I really don't have problem. Probably the same would be with me, and like that. Observe that. This is important. Okay, so the next one is the green flag for me in a man is when a man is not emotional. When a man is not emotional, this is a major green flag for me. That means that he is masculine, and the masculine man is a green flag for me because you already know. Now, why would I take a man who is not emotional? You will tell me, well, why would I need a man who is like that? He could not speak about emotions. He doesn't feel me. He's not empathetic. Because I can do all that. I can be emotional for both of us, and I don't need somebody who will be emotional next to me. I need somebody who is secure, who is strong, and who can hold the boundaries for my emotions to flourish, so to say. Now, if a man is emotional, he's insecure, he's worried, he's scared, all this kind of stuff. I don't need that. I could not be a mother to a grown-up man. So a man who's not emotional is good for me. How can you find out whether a man is not emotional or not? you can say something and see his reaction. If he reacts like, so if he displays emotions, not wounded ego, but emotions, then probably this is not a man for you. I would rather a man be aggressively masculine, rude even. I can ground that, obviously I wouldn't allow rudeness in me, but I would rather a man tell me what it is and how it is than he being, oh, I'm all upset, pretending that he's mad, upset, and giving me silent treatment and all that. This will not do with me. I do not tolerate that in men at all. So if a man is not emotional, that's a green flag. I'm taking it. Yes, sometimes they hurt. Sometimes they, as I said, rude. Sometimes they can say, like, I was dating this man long time ago, and he told me something. He said something. Why don't you put lipstick on your lips? You would look so much brighter. And I'm like, well, don't I look beautiful like that? He's like, yeah, you look beautiful, but there are women who are more beautiful than you. I mean, nice. What I want to say is that he understood that he hurt me a little bit, but I was appreciative of his directness. Then, if he would be quietly wanting me to put lipstick, but not, but looking at other women or something like that. So, anyways, I appreciate directness over emotions, and this is a green flag for me. Now, might not be for you, but again, think twice. Think twice, because as I told you before, I used to be in a relationship with a man who was feminine, and he was very, very empathetic and sensitive, and he didn't want to hurt my feelings. So I was gaining weight on and on and on, and he would never say nothing until at one point I realized that none of my clothes fit. That something is off, and when I told him, I said, I think I'm gaining weight. He's like, yeah, you did gain a lot. So, I mean, why couldn't you tell me that before? I understand that I also have eyes, could have realized it myself, but why? Why wouldn't you say this? Now, I would rather appreciate a man who would tell me, listen, time to go to the gym or something. So, like that. All right. Again, be careful of those emotional men. Be careful. You think it's nothing, they will drag you into the swamp of emotions and they will drown you there, and you will be doubting yourself for years. So don't do that. Okay. Another green flag for me in man is that a man who can push back, who is not afraid to lose me, and who has healthy boundaries. I would be, again, because I'm dating only masculine men, I would be very surprised if a man would be a pushover. Like, I don't date. I don't have friends who are pushovers. I don't have acquaintances who are pushovers. I don't even have clients who are pushovers. I wouldn't want to have a man who is like that. So I appreciate when a man can push back, can speak. I wouldn't say could fight for himself, but who has healthy boundaries. Who appreciates me, but also who appreciates himself even more than me. And this is it's very attractive. Everybody should the main person in my life is me. The main person in his life should be him. I wouldn't want to be the main person in his life. It still should be him. We love people who love themselves. I don't want to have a servant. I want to have a man, that I admire. So if he would love me more than he loves himself, I don't know. I mean, do I even need him? This is kind of strange. I mean, wouldn't you think that it's strange? So I would love, I like, and I admire very much men and everybody really who can hold their ground, who can push back, and who can speak. Like for example, I had this guy, and he was like very. He didn't care about nothing. Nothing was bothering him. He was just like absolutely nothing was ever. Nothing would rattle him. And I remember one day, so he had kids from the prior marriage, and I mentioned something about his kid. Now, it wasn't a mean remark, but we had a language barrier, and maybe it came off a little bit, off. And he told me very calmly, not to speak like this about his kids. And I appreciated that he stood up for his kids. It would be very strange for me if he wouldn't. Again, I didn't say anything mean, but I understand that it could have come off a little strange. So I told him I didn't mean it like this. So I obviously justified myself, but I was happy that he didn't. I'm not a mean person, but there could be somebody mean and who would be speaking bad about his kid, and that's not never right. So, anyways, I do appreciate when a man holds his ground. That means that he's strong, that he holds those grounds with everybody else, the boundaries, and this is it's always good. It's always good when a man is strong like this. If he can hold his boundaries, he can hold our boundaries in the relationship. He's somebody who can defend the relationship. He can protect both of us in the long run, and who knows, if we have a family, then he will be able to protect. So if right now he can protect himself, he can protect me, he can protect himself from me, then in the future he will be able to protect me and anybody who else will be in our relationship. So this is a major green flag. You would say that if a man is fighting back, it's not good. No, it's always good, because you do appreciate him for his strengths. It would be very strange if he wouldn't be standing his ground. It would be strange. All right. So the next green flag for me is when a man is a little selfish. Now, so what I mean by selfish, masculinity is focused on achieving, on achievements, on successes, on getting somewhere, so on getting some kind of results. And if a man I'm dating, if he's not trying to get any kind of results with me, I would be very cautious. So it's either he's very shy, meaning he's feminine probably, or he's not secure, again, probably feminine, or he's just not interested, and neither of those three is good. So I would want a man to try to get somewhere. So if we're talking and he's not trying to get me on a date or trying to see me, that would be very strange. Or if we're dating, he's not trying to, I don't know, to get intimate with me, to get closer to me, that would be also very strange. So for me, the green flag is when a man is focused on those actions, when he's selfish, when he wants to get something that is good for him, so to say. Now, why is it a green flag? It's a green flag because a man should be like this, and that means that man, he will always go for what he likes, and he will always get what he likes, and that's good for me. That means that in life overall, he's an achiever. That he values actions and he likes to be successful, and I would want to date a man like this. You see, now if a man is very shy, he doesn't want to do any kind of actions, he's not kissing you until you ask him to kiss or something like that, this is strange. That means that man is not really very ambitious, or he believes that you're out of his league or something. So again, he's insecure, and why would you want to date somebody who is insecure? So it's a green flag. Not necessarily that I would cut off a man like this, but I would look into why is he acting like this. I mean, even after he's comfortable with me and he still is not trying to score something, that's also strange. Again, doesn't mean that he's going to get something, but I would be surprised if he's not trying to get. Like, I will tell you, there was this guy, he was interested in me. And I think he was interested in me because I was a convenient choice. I used to live in the same building as he is. So I was convenient, we were kind of bumping into each other. Now, but he was not doing nothing, because he probably would never even speak to me if we would not be bumping into each other. And now, if you will look, so since I knew him kind of well, he had the same position at the same job for the last 15 years. 15 years he's on the same job, without any kind of advanced promotions or anything else. So you see, a man who is not selfish, who is not trying to score with me, probably does not score in life either. And I wouldn't want to have a man like this. Why would I want to have a man like this? So I need to tell him what to do. I need to tell him when to ask for a promotion. This is not for me. So a man who is a little selfish is a green flag. Again, you might agree with me or not agree, but it's a good thing. It's like, I was talking to my client, and she was like, men only want one thing from me, and I'm like, this is a good thing they do want. At least you have something to play with. It would be worse if men would not want that one thing from you. So again, it is a green flag when a man is trying to get something from you, that he is, that means that he's interested and he's ready to do actions to get what he wants from you, and that means that he's the same in life, and that's amazing. Ambitious man is always good. All right, so what else? The next green flag for me is that the man is generous, and you will be like, yeah, sure, this is everybody's green flag. I will tell you why this is a green flag for me. So masculinity on its own is not attached attached to nothing. So not attached to me, not attached to money, not attached to any kind of resources. Because they're not attached to anything, they're usually easy to part with with everything that they have. It's good and bad. But with money overall, especially when men are masculine, they're okay with spending money. You see, they need validation, so they like to spend money, and they usually do. Now, energy of air men spend money because they really don't care about money, because they care more about a bigger idea, a bigger picture. And the men energy of fire are usually spenders because they just need validation. They need to feel great about spending. They need to do this and that. I have this guy, and an admirer from New York. So he invited me. He's like, "Come to New York. You haven't been here in so long. I will send you a ticket. But let me know fast, because business class tickets are sold very fast. And this 2 hours flight to New York. I'm like, economy would be fine too if the business class tickets would sell out." And he's like, no, such a show. But okay, that's fine. What I want to say is that this is a magic green flag when a man wants to spend. That means that, so just imagine, men overall are spenders. Masculine men are big spenders. Now, if a masculine man is not spending on you, that means that you are absolutely, that he is absolutely not valuing you, and he is absolutely not interested in you. It would be very strange that a man is not spending. If he's interested in you, he will be spending. If he's not, then either he's not interested, or he's feminine and he's sitting and holding on to his money, or he's stingy again because probably he's feminine and he doesn't have too much money, or he doesn't have money at all. And this is obviously a red flag. So a man who's generous is a good thing for me and for overall women. It's a magic green flag. Now, don't think that I'm only hunting for men who are like really spending thousands and thousands of dollars. No, but I do want to see a man spend. If we're going out and he's like looking at the prices in the menu, this is weird. Like, let's already eat and then spend whatever you are next time. Don't invite me or something. It didn't happen to me at all, like lately, thanks God. But if that would happen, I would be very concerned. I would be concerned with why is this happening again. Men are usually spenders. They are not holding on to money. So if a man is holding on to money, it's either he doesn't have them. That would be a red flag. Why doesn't he have now? Or he's stingy, he's afraid to lose money. That means that he's feminine. Oh, he's not interested in me, so he doesn't even want to spend. But even then, even if he's a little bit interested, the man will spend. So this is strange. The more a man spends, the more interested he's in you, the more he's investing in you like a project. So this is obviously a green flag. Observe that, and again, see, so for example, if a man is a multimillionaire and he's spending a very, very tiny fraction, so he only invites you for coffee, never buys you any kind of presents, that's strange. Now, on the other hand, if a man is making the minimum wage, let's say that he's young, right, and he's just trying to kind of to save and this and that, and he is inviting you every time somewhere, let's even say for coffee, that's already a green flag, because he's spending a bigger fraction of his wealth on you. So he is investing more and more in you than that multimillionaire who's spending a very tiny fraction on you. So like that, I would look into that. Again, how much he spends doesn't always mean, like, I had this client, and she was socializing and dating men who were very wealthy, and there was the guy who was very very wealthy. You probably all know him, but that's fine. So the presents that he was buying her were a drop in the ocean of his wealth, nothing. And she knew that, and I knew that, and I was telling her that this doesn't mean nothing. This this drop for him is nothing really. And that's exactly how it played out. He was not invested in her that much, whatever he was giving her, those little things. I mean, for somebody this were big things, but for him they were not big things. And he was not hardly remembering, the investment was not worth the like his attachment. So, and I told her, if you want to date this man, if you want him to be serious, he needs to spend more on you. But she was afraid, she was not secure about asking for much more, and eventually it died out. Now if she would ask him for something bigger, for like a really nice car or an apartment, then maybe if he would invest in her that much, he probably would start looking at her a little differently. She would be already a serious investment. But he didn't. She didn't ask, and it just naturally died out. She was not ready for bigger moves like that. Her budget was within $1,000, $2,000, and that was it. So I would look into how generous a man is, whether he's generous. Now, if he's masculine, not generous, I wouldn't really look. Probably he's not even interested that much in me. It would be very strange. And I would also look at how much he spends based on his overall wealth, because sometimes, like there is this guy in Brickell. I don't know, I already heard from two of my one client and one friend. He's just very strange. He just sends people money like that, or women. I don't know. He just needs some kind of validation, or he just sends them like $1,000, $2,000 randomly on Cash App or Zelle, just like this, without anything, without date, without even seeing them. I don't know who is that Santa Claus in Brickell, but that's what he does. And so again, for a man to spend is nothing. See how much he spends on you, and what is the equivalent of the money that he has obviously in his bank. So, but a generous man is a green flag. Now, what else is a green flag for me? A green flag for me is a man who's adventurous. Now, adventurous in everything. Again, being adventurous is a sign of masculinity, and I would always go for a man like this. Now, it doesn't mean that I would be part of all his adventures, obviously, but I would want a man who is. So, look, masculine energy is basically, it's a very saturated kind of, it's like fire that's burning inside. It needs to come out somehow, and that come out can be through some kind of actions like this, through some kind of adventures, through something new, through doing something, and it's always good. So I would take a man like this any day. Now, will I be following him everywhere on his adventures? Probably not, but I would appreciate a man who is like that, who can just pick up and go, who can travel, who is not overthinking every little move. If you tell him, hey, let's go to Coral Gables, 1 hour drive, I mean, not that far really, and he's like, oh yeah, but probably traffic, or but this and that, and okay, no, like a man who's masculine, who's adventurous, will be like, yeah, let's go, without asking any questions. And that's what I like. Yes, I might not be able to be on all his adventures, but I would love him to be like that, you see. And that's just it. So that's a major green flag for me. A man who is not adventurous, probably feminine, or in a very weak masculine energy. Usually these are like men who are a little overweight, unhealthy. They're afraid, they don't feel secure, they're afraid to do something, they're afraid to go somewhere. I wouldn't want somebody like this, just because it's not masculine. These are not masculine traits. I like men who are just ready to go. And if a man has a lot of energy of fire or air, he will be like this. So regardless. This is the green flag. Please do. You see, a lot of women would not like that because they like men who are just sitting next to them watching Netflix and going to go to work, go from work on Saturday, they go out and that's it. But this is not what masculinity is about. Masculinity is about doing something, seeing something new, exploring something new, trying something new, achieving, getting like proving yourself that you can. This is what's important. That's what burns them inside. That's what moves them. That's what drives them. So if a man is not like this, then he's feminine. I don't need a feminine man who will be sitting watching Netflix. I can do that myself. I don't need or I can get myself a cat who can sit next to me and watch Netflix. I don't need a man like this. I need a man whose eyes are sparkling, who has these ideas, who wants to do things, maybe some dangerous things, but I don't mind as long as it really he has that fire that burns in him. This is important. Otherwise, that fire will burn inside of him if he's masculine, and eventually he will start having issues with health. Now, if he's not masculine, then you're already stuck with not a not an adventurous man. All right. So what else? What else are my green flags? The green flags. Then this would be strange, but yet I will tell you. The green flag for me is a man who is not very spiritual, who is not very religious. Why? Yeah, I will tell you why. Honestly, any man who writes to me, you see my Instagram, I write about energy, relationship, this and this. I'm a Reiki master. So some men try to be sneaky and smart and they write, oh, your energy seems to be so clean or so good or something. And I'm like, this is so wrong to say to me right now. Now, I would rather a man be turned off by me being a Reiki master than a man who is trying to talk to me on the energy subject. So why am I so opposed of man being so spiritual, religious, or something? So for the same reason, a man, masculine man, the energy is outside, not inside. So they cope with problems differently. If they have problems, they go for a run. If they can solve the problem, they will solve it right away. They're not going to sit and meditate and hope that something will come. They're action oriented. They solve their issues. They need money. They go make the money. They want to. They want to get a woman in their life. They go out, they start talking to, or they go on a dating site. So men are like this overall. Men are action oriented. Now, like women or feminine energy is inside. Now, since the energy is inside, you need to balance it inside. That's why it's good for a woman to be spiritual, religious, maybe, meditate, kind of listen to herself, balance herself. You see, these are not actions. This is something you need to do from the inside, inside yourself. You see, so it's good for a woman to be like that. For a man, he shouldn't be like that. Now, again, and you will tell me, well, some religious men are religious only because it serves them, and I see those men. Sometimes I understand that, like some places of worship are more like a place where you negotiate business deals. I don't mind that, but if a man is like seriously focused on his, like, sits and meditates for 2 hours, and then he prays for, I don't know, for days and days or something, or fast. And it's his constant kind of, he's not doing nothing in the world, but just do only this. I would be very cautious about those men. It's either he's scared, so insecure to go and do something, so he hopes that it somehow will, the resolution somehow will come, or he's just he simply hides from something. So he hides from the world. Some people escape by drinking alcohol or something. He's just escaping by meditating and pretending that he's this big spiritual person. So again, I would be very cautious. I don't like men like this. I would be seriously cautious about it. Now, again, I don't say that a man shouldn't go to church, let's say, or to mosque or synagogue. This is not. I don't say this. It's not. It's not true. They can. It just, as long as it's not the majority of their life, and as long as it's not becoming too overwhelming, that he's I remember in childhood I was watching that movie. I don't know what the movie is, but I remember this scene. So it's a couple and they're struggling, obviously, because it was a difficult time in the country. So a woman works 3 jobs, and the guy, he's reading Bible, laying on the couch day in and day out, and trying to preach to her, and that the God will save them and this and that. Very strange. But I remember, I'm like, why is he not working? I remember I was asking my mom that question when I was little. Why is he not working? So it was very, very strange. So again, I would be very cautious. I even had not a mentor, but um, somebody who I was watching, and like a blogger on Instagram, or I'm not sure where. I was watching her a long time ago, and I remember her man. So he was feminine. You could see he was feminine. That was pretty obvious. Plus, he was, I think, his son was in Cancer. I don't know about his other plans, but he was feminine. You can see that, and he was also meditating, this and that. And at one point, they started having issues, so he became very aggressive again, because there was she was making the money. She was the blogger, so she was making the money. She was bringing the cash in, and he was sitting and meditating over there, so, and at one point, again, all that didn't come out from him started bothering him, and he became aggressive with her. I'm not following them for a long time already. Well, for a long time, I was following her for like half a year, and that's it. I now followed her again, so I'm not sure what, but it was very obvious that a man who could not accomplish nothing in life, this spirituality will not get him nowhere. I also spent some time in Playa del Carmen in Mexico last year, the year before. When was it? And there were a lot of these expats. They call themselves, I don't know, I guess, people who live in Mexico because it's more affordable. And I met those men that are highly spiritual. Again, they don't make no money, look like homeless, but praise themselves on being spiritual. Again, this is not what masculinity is about. Masculinity is about actions, about bettering of life, about achieving, about striving for something, not about looking for some kind of taking some substances and looking for some kind of, I don't know, inner light that is not really for them. It's for a feminine energy mostly. All right, so this is my my take on the green flag. So green flag is when a man is not spiritual or religious. Again, doesn't mean that he does not belong to nowhere. So if a man is, for example, he says, "Oh, I'm Jewish, or I'm Muslim, or I'm Christian," that's fine with me. It's part of the culture. I don't mind, as long as that part of the culture doesn't become his life. As long as he doesn't sit in the church and looking for some kind of answers for days and days in and out. I understand that everybody has crises, and you can come in and pray once in a while, but as long as there are some kind of actions, that you're not just only hoping that some kind of, I don't know, inner light will solve all your issues. I mean, even me, a Reiki master, a feminine woman, with all my the meditation, all my spirituality and everything, I work with energy, I still do actions. I still take accountability for my life. I still responsible, for my progress and my success. Me again, a Reiki master, a feminine woman. Now, a man who is not doing this would be a serious red flag for me. So, man who is not spiritual and who is not religious is a green flag for me. All right, and the last one for today, at least, is a man who is that would be. A man who, okay, so the green flag for me, and this is uh, maybe not as deep, but a man who has a decent hygiene. Now, I don't really talk much about the appearance and everything, but this is somewhat that is important. Now, why is it important? Because anybody who likes themselves, who loves themselves, they will take care of themselves. Now, masculinity could be a little bit like, I don't really care how I look kind of type. And for me, it's important that the man would be decent. Unless a man is energy of fire like Leo, then he will look very good. Take showers 5 times a day. But for the most part, men are not. So if he's highly feminine, then he will be. He could be almost like feminine men actually look better, especially if they have a lot of earth energy, because they like to look after themselves. Now masculine men could be like they don't care, especially if they have a lot of air, all these ideas, all this kind of what they want to do. They don't have time almost to take showers and to care for themselves. So this is important for me. I think that every person should care for themselves. So if a man doesn't, it's a major red flag. So hygiene is important. Now, what I mean by hygiene, it's not only taking showers every day, twice a day preferably, but it's also grooming themselves. So if a beard is super overgrown, the mustache is super overgrown, or his hair is just all over sticking out. I mean, look, just I don't know. It's a big no. Also clothes. If he wears the same clothes all the time, and the clothes is not washed, if it's wrinkled, like I'm not looking for a man who's just so super perfect in everything. I look for a man who is decent, who at least who cares enough to value himself, to take care of himself. I really don't don't ask for much, I would say, in this kind of aspect. I wouldn't care. Like, I would rather take a man who cares less than more. Like, if, for example, if a man is so obsessed with himself, so he colors his hair to make sure nobody knows that he is 60 years old. I mean, it's not like it's obvious. I think a man should just make sure that he's comfortable in his skin, but he is caring for that skin, like. So a shower is non-negotiable. I mean, obviously, brushing teeth is not negotiable. Taking care of yourself with teeth, not postponing dentist visits, any health issues, looking out for their clothes. I mean, again, men are not very particular about that, but they can hire somebody who will look after that. Like, I have this friend. He's very busy. He has a housekeeper, and that housekeeper of his, she makes sure that he has always she does his laundry also, and she takes his clothes that is to dry cleaners, the ones that needs to be taken, and she brings them back. So yes, if it would be up to him, he would probably wear the same stuff. But lucky for him, he hired somebody who takes care of that for him. So again, I'm not looking for men who are vain, who like follow it, but I do look for somebody who likes to, who is decent, who takes care. This is a major green flag. I did met men who are not. It sounds strange, right? In our day and age, I mean, everybody has a shower in the apartment. Take the shower. What's the problem? But I met some men who were like that, who were not. Who just I don't know. I guess didn't took time to be clean. So this is important for me. It is. I understand that masculinity is not about cleaning and taking care of everything, but I need to make sure I'm not dating a pig. So I would look, and not only at him, I would look at his car, how dirty that is, and how if I'm ever in his apartment, I'll make sure that he doesn't have a stack of dirty dishes. I mean, buy a dishwasher if you have some issues with washing your dishes. But this is important, a green flag for me. And I always appreciated men who look after themselves. I don't need no order. No, I don't see it. I don't see that sexy. I don't understand why some men think that it's sexy when they have the sweat spots and an odor that unpleasant or so. No, that's it. All right. So for today, that's it. Let me sum it up. Write me what are your green flags. It would be interesting to compare. And tell me whether you agree with me or not. And next Sunday, I will continue. I still have a lot to go. But let's sum them up. So the first green flag. Okay, so I will sum it up and I will tell you about the solar eclipse that will be on Tuesday. All right, so the first green flag is that he needs to be masculine. If a man is feminine, his natal chart, I'm not dealing with him. That femininity will come up at one point and I'm not dealing with it. So a man has to be masculine. Yes, not always the pleasantest person to deal with, but I can deal with this, and I could not deal with emotions. Then the second is that he's not always available. He has a life, he has interests, and I appreciate that in him. I understand that he's an individual, and that's admiring. The third one is that the major green flag for me is that he has friends, acquaintances, family. I would be very careful with masculine men who have nobody to talk to. At least business associates, colleagues, somebody. They need to socialize. No, masculinity is outside, can't be inside. If he will not socialize with friends, family, cousins, colleagues, then he will find either he will be on your back all the time, or he will find somebody who he will be talking to. So I would be very cautious about men like that. Now, also, I love men who can push back, who have healthy boundaries. If he can push me back when I'm overstepping my boundaries, he will be able to push back everybody else. He will be able to protect our family, if there would be family, or our relationship, if so. So that's a good, as long as he's not doing it in a mean way, as long as he's kind of smart with that. What else? The green flag for me is non-emotional man. That means that he's masculine, and yes, he can be rude, he can be aggressive. That's fine. I can deal with that. I could not deal with manipulative, emotional man. That's not for me. And I don't think any woman should be. It's a swamp that will drag you in and drown you. So don't. These are the men that you are spending 10 years in the relationship with, and then come out with super overweight, with a bunch of traumas, fears, and everything, and and you don't know what to do with yourself. So don't. Another green flag is a generous man. So masculinity is not afraid to spend. If a masculine man is not spending on you, chances are very high he's not interested, or he's just not masculine, or he just doesn't have to spend, and that's a red flag. Then the green flag is for me a man who is a little selfish. So a man who wants to get something from me, who wants to score with me, who wants to get some kind of results with me. Doesn't mean he will, but at least he's trying. That means that he is in life like this as well. And I like a man who knows what he wants and goes for it. A man who is too shy to kiss me is a problem. Like, I wouldn't want somebody who is too bold, but then he will know that I don't like that, so that's okay. But somebody who is couldn't even raise his eyes to look at me is strange, like really strange. And even after we know each other and he's still like this, I mean, what I'm going to do with this person? Then I would be my green flag is a man who has a decent relationship with his mother. So the relationship should be neutral. He's absolutely separated from her, and he's just checking in on her, telling about himself once in a while. That's absolutely normal. Now, if a mom is he's on the phone with him all the time, he has no boundaries, he's not separated, I would be very careful with that. But I would observe how he socialized with his mom. That's how he would socialize with me. Then I would also appreciate a man who is adventurous man. Why? Because adventurous men are usually very masculine, and I don't mind. I like a man who is just let's do it, who is not afraid to try something, who is not afraid to do something. I love that. And I think a man should be like this. If a man just sits at home and doesn't do nothing, doesn't even take a risk at home, then something is off. Either he's very feminine, or he's just or his masculinity is not developed. He's probably overweight, he's probably have problems, health problems. I don't need somebody like that. Then a green flag for me is a man who's not spiritual or religious. Religious, again, because masculinity is about actions, not about sitting and meditating. I would be very careful with the man who is spiritual or religious. Usually those men have nothing in their life. Usually they don't have no money. So there is some kind of issues. I remember in the 90s, I was still a little girl, and in my country was falling apart. And a lot of people were doing vicious stuff to get money. I had this girl, we were in university together, and her father was one of those men. And I remember he was dragging the whole family to church every single Sunday, because I guess he had some sins and he wanted to to get rid of those sins. But you see, he was only going there only on Saturdays, only on Sundays, and only when he kind of felt a little guilty. But the actions were first. So again, I would be very careful with men who are super religious, super spiritual, something is off with them. They're hiding behind that veil of unknown. The ones that are still manifesting instead of doing actions. Again, femininity is inside, masculinity is outside. It's okay when you're feminine, you can sit and meditate. You should be strong inside. Masculinity needs to do actions, and this is the man that I would go for. All right. So the next green flag is the hygiene. Yeah. So the hygiene is very important. If a man doesn't care about himself, I'm not going to be his mom and remind him every day, oh, you need to go get a haircut or something. Again, I'm not looking for a vain man, and you shouldn't be either. But a man who looks after himself is I don't think it's much to ask. So a man who takes showers regularly, brushes his teeth, sees dentist. This is something that's just normal. Again, masculine men are not very good with that. I would be honest; they're too busy, they're too preoccupied with something, special energy of air. But look, I mean, I'm not going to be living with the pig who could not take shower. All right, that's it. Again, if you have questions, ask. And as promised, let me just remind you that so tomorrow is the 29th lunar day. Don't forget to clean up your apartment, maybe throw out something. And then on Tuesday, we're having a lunar new year. So it's lunar new year. It's new moon. It's solar eclipse. So we're going to have a solar eclipse in Aquarius. Look where Aquarius is in your chart. Oh, okay, perfect. They clean my apartment right now, right on time. So you need to observe where Aquarius is. So it will be on the axis of Aquarius Leo, and depending on what is on that axis is what this solar eclipse brings to you. I want to mention something. Okay, so be mindful. What comes in comes out of your life during the eclipse. So after the solar eclipse, we'll have 2 weeks of this period between solar eclipse and lunar eclipse. It's called the eclipses corridor. So the time between the two eclipses. And usually during those 2 weeks, something is happening. Something is showing you of where you need to, maybe what you need to leave behind and where you need to move forward to. Do not fight with anybody. Do not argue. If you will do something like something big during this time, it will be set kind of in stone. So if you fight with somebody, chances are that person will either your relationship will go to a different level, or that person will just will be eliminated from your life. I will tell, and it's not that it's not needed. It's needed most of the time. You see, sometimes we drag people along. Sometimes we drag. Yes, 2 weeks after. So sometimes we drag. Your birthday is going to be in that during that time. Very very important year will be. So sometimes we drag along people, some kind of circumstances, some kind of stuff that we don't need any longer. And during this kind of times when the energy is super saturated, the energy pushes us to get rid of that. So like I will tell you, I was in a relationship and I liked the guy very, very much. And so I had this mentor. She was somewhat an astrologer, and she told me, if you want to keep this guy in your life, do not fight with him there was a lunar eclipse or something. And I remember it was in December. It was a long time ago, like a few years back. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I need to make sure I don't fight with him on that day. So what I did, we were supposed to meet, and I told him, listen, I don't feel too good, so let's just not meet. And he's like, okay. Usually he'll be just like, fine, never, and wouldn't bother me with that. And I'm like, okay, good. So now I just need to hold on for like 2-3 days. So it's like a couple days before the eclipse and a couple days after. And right in the eclipse, right in that day when the eclipse was, he's texting me, hey, I'm outside, come out, let's go for a ride, something. And I'm like, if I would have told him, no, I don't want to, that would be very strange. So I'm like, okay, I'm going, but I'm not going to fight. I'm make sure that it's a peaceful kind of conversation. And I did, and we went for a ride. Everything was good. And then I went to his place, and everything was good. But it was stuck brewing in me. I don't know. It was, I just couldn't hold myself, and we did. But the fight was, it was not really a fight. It was a disagreement. What was after the disagreement that I that was that really um, predicted our future. So I basically took my stuff, took Uber and went home. You see, I didn't stay there. I didn't clear the air. I went home. What I did even more, I blocked him. So for 2 weeks, we couldn't even communicate, and that would seal their fate. So for the next couple of months, we tried to kind of to talk. We even went a couple of days, but it just came to nothing. You see, I tried, but I guess it was time to let him go, and the energy helped me. I could not really. So do not do something like that. And if you do not feel like you made a mistake. If it was meant to live, it was meant to live. Let it go. There will be something else, something better, or something like that. Observe that. I wanted to share it with you because it's a pretty strong. Why I'm telling you this, because this solar eclipse is squaring Uranus, and Uranus is a planet of sudden changes. Those changes might be very good or not so good, but they could be somewhat sudden. And if something like that happens, just remember what I said. It's not all. You do not hold on to something that's already outlived its presence in your life. If it's meant to go, let it go. That's it. If I don't know, it could be friendships, could be like I have this friend, and I remember one solar eclipse also was something like that, and her couch. So she was talking about buying a new couch all the time. Every time I come to visit her, she's like, "I need to buy a new couch. I need to buy a new couch," but she could never buy. I think she felt kind of guilty of throwing this one and buying a new one, and then. On one solar eclipse or something, it was so funny because she called me and she said, "Look, your predictions were true." It broke. I don't know, the side of the couch just fell off. I don't know what happened. And she's like, "Okay, that's the sign. The couch has to go." So she threw it out and she bought a new one. But you see what happened? I mean, the couch had to go. She knew it had to go. She was already she was preparing herself that the couch will have to go. She needs to buy a new one, and it just the energy helped her. So be mindful of those changes. If the changes are coming, I mean, just accept it and go with it. Don't fight the energy. Don't fight the future. Um, don't just go with it. But don't look for problems yourself. Don't and be careful on the road and everything like that. Okay, let me look through TikTok. There were so many comments today. If you have questions, ask. If not, then that's it. I agree completely. Marriage and the family unit is BS. Okay, I didn't even say that. I'm not sure. Why would you write that? Dun, 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 dun. A woman could never tell people how a man should be. Agree, but I'm not telling how he should be. I'm telling what my green flags are. You have a closed mind. You need to realize every man isn't brought up the same. Okay, I guess you must be a feminine man. That's fine too. Oh my God, this guy. Okay, I'm not reading. It's a little too much. All right, that's it. I start the energy alignment on Wednesday. If you want, I can take you on. Would be a very powerful time. So I think. Let me know though. Do make sure clean your apartment and everything before the new year, before the new lunar year, before the new moon. It's important because because it's a new year, a new kind of new lunar year. So I try not to. I'm not Chinese, and I know that Chinese are very particular about this time. I think overall Asian culture is so. make sure don't clean, don't cut your hair, don't do nothing, nothing like that during this time. And do observe yourself. Again, it's going to be solar eclipse, so obviously there will be some kind of indications on what indicators on where your life is moving. Find where Aquarius and Leo are in your chart. Like for me, it's uh, this will be third and ninth, second and eighth. So these are the houses that will be important for me, and then see, and that particular house will be influenced. You see, so if it's in the seventh house, this is going to be your relationship, either your relationship in business or with partners or with somebody. So some kind of, if it's in your fifth house, it's your creativity, your children. If it's in your third house, these are your closest relationships, so relationship with siblings, colleagues, friends, stuff like that. Your communications with those closest ones. If it's in the 11th house, this is your social standing. Watch out for your reputation. You might become super popular or might drop from your popularity very fast. If it's in the second house, this is the money, your personal resources. So something there might be some breakthrough. Don't spend too much. If it's in the eighth house, this is shared resources, shared intimacy. Maybe you will get deeper with somebody. Maybe you will get some return on the investments. Now, if it's in the first house, this is all about you. So how you represent yourself, what you think about yourself. Your opinions might change. In the 12th house, it's the house of your inner kind of traumas and wounds, of your inner reflection. So you will have to go even deeper to find out what is it that bothering you. Now, if it's in the 10th house, this is your career house. So you probably will start looking more into what you can do to better off your career, maybe even change your career somehow. Your status, if you are not working, maybe this is your status. Maybe you will want to become a married woman now, since there is such a transit going. So and like this. Now, I think I mentioned all of them. Sixth house is the house of the routine, your health. Maybe you'll start looking into your health, doing more checkups, something. So the fourth house, the house of family, of your house. So this is also where you will start thinking about how I can, maybe you will decide to buy a house or something. So like this, observe where it's not so the solar eclipse will be for everybody, but for everybody different depending on the house where it falls in. All right. That's it. If you have questions, ask. If not, then I wish you a happy new moon, which will be on Tuesday. And let me know about the green flags. Do you agree with me or not? What are your green flags? And I will see you next Sunday at 11. We will continue this conversation about the green flags. Bye, TikTok. And by YouTube, thank you for being here with me. I wish you happy Sunday, happy new moon when it will come. Please do clean your house today or tomorrow. It is important, and please observe yourself. What's new coming into your life? What's living your life? It's always. Maybe I will share with you what's going on in mine, because I also influenced by these eclipses, and I notice what wants to live my life and what wants to kind of to sneak into my life. So it's interesting to observe. All right, thank you everybody for being here, and I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye everybody.